Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. So now that we've learned about our comparatives, we're going to move on and we're going to learn about superlatives. Now the rules are very similar. In fact, they're the same. We just change it a little bit. So for example, let's go again with our one syllable adjectives. Okay, so if you remember some of the one syllable adjectives that we learned when we were talking about comparatives, let's use the same words. Okay, I don't want to give you too many vocabulary words. So we had, for example, tall, right? In the comparative form, we say taller than, right? So this is with two people, okay? But what if you have three people or more? You need to say, for any one syllable adjective, so whether it's tall, short, old, or young, let's focus on these four. I think it's enough. So we need to add est, okay? And we need to put the. This is really important. It's often forgotten, right? You must add the before the adjective, and then you have est at the end to show that this is a superlative, okay? So, for example, there are 5 people in my family. I have one brother, one sister, and of course my parents. So I can say, in my family, I am the tallest. Meaning that of all 5 members of my family, I am the tallest one, the most tall. But don't say that, right? I'm just giving the example. You should say the tallest, all right? So you would do the same thing with all of these. So for example, okay, my sister is the shortest in my family. Okay, my sister is the shortest in my family. All right, so can you make your own sentence using old? So who is the oldest in your family? And make the sentence. Have a try. Okay, good. All right, so let's move on to we're going to look at the same thing. So 2 syllable adjectives ending in y. Okay? All right, so 2 syllable adjectives ending in y. So of course, previously we learned words like curly, okay, and ugly. Start with these, just do these 2. So again, we want to follow the same kind of pattern, okay, that we did with comparatives. So with comparatives, we crossed out the y, changed it to I, and add er and say curlier than. Here, again, we have to add the in front. So we say the, all right? Again, we need to change our y to I, and this time we add the same as with our one syllables, est, okay? So, my sister is the only one with curly hair in my family. So it would be strange to say she has the curliest hair. It needs to compare to somebody. Somebody else should have curly hair. But just for the purposes of the lesson, let's say my sister has the curliest hair in my family. Okay? And I would have to say that I am by far the ugliest in my family. So, can you use one of these words to make your own sentence? How about you have a try? Okay, great. So again, we're going to go on to our 2 or more syllable adjectives. Okay? All right, so if you remember from earlier, we learned the words handsome, beautiful, and attractive. So let's use the same words again, okay? So as you remember, when we make a comparative using these words, we said more handsome than. So here we need to say the most handsome, okay? The most beautiful and the most attractive, okay? So, for example, a lot of people think that Fan Binbin is the most beautiful woman in China. Okay? And David Beckham is maybe the most handsome man. All right, so can you use the word attractive to make your own sentence? Have a try. Okay, great. I hope that you were able to make your own sentences, and don't forget to practice. But we're going to do some practice of our own. So we're going to come back in a minute and we're going to look at using superlatives. Alright, so now we're going to have a look at superlatives. So if you remember, we use superlatives when we want to talk or compare three different things, okay? So what we have here is I've added a new person. So this is Yao Ming. So Yao Ming is a very famous basketball player from China, okay? And he is very tall. Now I've written his height as 219, but to be honest, that was a guess. I think he's about 119. He might be more 219. Maybe he's more than 220. But for the purposes of the class, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Okay? So sorry, I'll just add his name here. Okay, because I forgot to put that in. All right. So his name is Yao Ming. All right. So let's have a look at our superlatives. So now we have three people. If we look at the age first, okay? So we want to use our superlative, which is with the age. So we want to say old, right? So with the superlative, we add the in the front and est at the end of the word. So the oldest, okay? So let's make a sentence. So who is the oldest? Right. David is the oldest. Okay? David is the oldest of the three. Or David is the oldest of them all. Okay? If you want to add it to the end of the sentence, you can. Alright. Now let's have a look at the height. Gee, I wonder who the tallest is. I don't know, who could it be? Alright, so who is the tallest? So make a full sentence. Okay, so hopefully you said Yao Ming is the tallest. Or you could have said Yao Ming is the tallest of the three. Or Yao Ming is the tallest of them all. Okay? Alright, next let's have a look at the weight. Okay? Now, who is the heaviest? Who is the heaviest? Alright, good. So hopefully you were able to say Yao Ming is the heaviest. And you might look at Yao Ming and wonder, how is he heavier than Arnold when Arnold is so wide? But he is so tall. He has so much extra meat and bones that he weighs even more than Arnold. Okay? So don't forget that you can practice doing it the opposite way. Alright? So now we've talked about the oldest, the tallest, and the heaviest. So what I want you to do, see if you can make three sentences to say the opposite of what we did. So youngest, shortest, and lightest. So have a try. Look at the information and make the sentences. Okay, great. I'm sure you did a really good job. So you should have said that Arnold is the youngest of the three, okay? And David is the shortest and the lightest of the three. Okay? Alright, very good. So, now, again, we want to look at using but. Okay? So we can use the comparative form and the superlative form together in the one sentence. Alright? So So let's have a look at how we would do that. So first, let's have a look at the age, right? So Yao Ming is in the middle. So we're going to start with Yao Ming, right? So we're going to say Yao Ming is older than Arnold, but David is the oldest, okay? So what I want you to do is do the same thing and make your own sentence, all right, with height and weight. I'm sure you don't need my help anymore. So have a try. Okay, great. So hopefully you said, for example, Arnold is taller than David, but Yao Ming is the tallest. Okay? And Arnold is heavier than David, but Yao Ming is the heaviest. And again, you can reverse these. Okay? Now, for a situation like the height, okay, where these two are fairly similar, but then there's a big gap to Yao Ming, right? So I can add even some other words like a little and much, okay? So I want to use a little to talk about a small difference, and I want to use much to talk about a big difference, okay? So this is just to add a little bit of complexity to your sentence, okay? So what you can do is you can say, for example, Arnold is a little taller than David, okay? But Yao Ming is much taller than both David and Arnold, okay? So write these words down, look at the information, and see if you can make your own sentences. Another good idea is just to go onto the internet and find your own pictures of 3 famous people that you know and you like, and put your own information in and practice making your own sentences. Okay, so we're going to leave the lesson there for today. I hope you had fun, and thanks for joining me at Beehive Language. Hello and welcome back to Beehive Language. Okay, so let's review what we learned earlier today. So earlier today we learned about comparatives and superlatives. So comparatives, we have 3 rules that we need to follow. We have 1 syllable comparatives like tall, short, fat, and thin. And in this case we add er, and of course we need our comparative then. So taller than. With 2 syllable adjectives ending in y, for example, ugly, curly, okay, we change the y to I and add er, plus than. So my sister's hair is curlier than mine. With 2 or more syllable adjectives, we need to, like beautiful, handsome, we need to add more in front. So we say more beautiful than. Okay, so I hope that you remember that. And superlatives, okay, we follow the same rules, but we change the end a little bit. Okay, so with 1 syllable adjectives like tall, we say the, don't forget the, very important, okay? Say the tallest, all right? The tallest. With 2 syllable adjectives ending in y, okay, so like ugly, we say the ugliest. So we change the y to I and add er. And with 2 or more syllable adjectives, for example, handsome, say he is the most handsome. Okay? Alright, so now let's have a look at our dialogue for today. Alright, so I just have a simple dialogue here, and actually it's only using comparatives. Okay? So, are you taller than your brother? No, I'm shorter than him. Okay? A says, but isn't he younger than you? So even though his brother is younger, he is taller. Okay? Says, yes, He got all the good genes. So what does this word here mean? All the good genes. So genes are kind of part of your DNA. So these are things that are passed on from your parents to you. So for example, I have a mixture of my father's genes and my mother's genes. My mother is right-handed and my father is left-handed. So when I write with my left hand, as you've probably already noticed. Okay? But when I do other things, I do them right-handed. So I'm very confused. I do some things left-handed and some things right-handed, and it's because of my genes. All right, so then A says, well, you must be better than your brother at something. There's got to be something that you're better at. He says, I guess I'm better at sports than him, but he is more handsome than me. And then A wants to make his friend feel better about himself. So he says, but your girlfriend is more beautiful than his. And it's true. So let's get my good friend Paul to come in and run through the dialogue so we can show you an example. Are you taller than your brother?
No, I'm shorter than him.
But isn't he younger than you?
Yes, he got all the good genes.
Well, you must be better than your brother at something.
Well, I guess I'm better at sports than him, but he is much more handsome than me.
But your girlfriend is more beautiful than his.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's go through this dialogue together. Okay, so we're going to go through the usual process. First time I will be A and you will be B. Okay, so let's get started. Are you taller than your brother? But isn't he younger than you? Well, you must be better than your brother at something. But your girlfriend is more beautiful than his. Okay, so let's change the roles. This time you're going to start us off by saying A, and I'll play the role of B. Okay, so go for it. No, I'm shorter than him. Yes, he got all the good genes. I guess I'm better at sports than him, but he is more handsome than me. Okay, great. Well, I hope that you had fun today learning how to use comparatives and superlatives. Don't forget to review so that you can remember the rules that you've learned and practice how to use the vocabulary and follow the grammar rules in your daily speech. All right, have fun with it. I'll see you next time.